If you're wondering why you haven't seen me lately, oops, sorry, just gotta close that up. And that, yeah. Right. If you're wondering why you haven't seen me lately, it's because I moved out in Whangarei. I'm pretty sure I mentioned that in my playthrough. I think I did, and you know, sorting everything out here because just because I went like a drunk bender. What was it? My uncle let me stay like at his place, and then turns out like the manager working there doesn't like me because she's a racist, narcissistic sociopath, and he gave me either a day. Yeah, he gave me he wanted to kick me out straight away, my uncle, because he's like my uncle-in-law. He's no one likes my family, so don't worry about it. And also, what was it? Or yeah, it was either that or move with my dad to Perth, and Jamin ended up getting me this place, which I will put in the link below because my landlord John is now relisting this place, and I just thought I would do my very own PSA about why you shouldn't rent here and my experiences living here. So yeah, I ended up staying in this place, and just right off the bat, if you want to know why I'm getting evicted, it was because me and all of my housemates, so all four of us, we all decided to have a house meeting with them like on the spot because Keri had to go to work, and it was her lunch break, so yeah, we decided to do it then and there. Like, it was really half-assed, but we didn't really, it was like unexpected. We didn't really we couldn't plan it. It was just because she had to work. So we all it probably looked like we were cornering him, but so that video that was unlisted, that was actually our meeting with him. I've just decided not to show it publicly because I could get into a lot of trouble with that, obviously. But in that clip, he has, it says in the description, he's denied everything and he's just playing stupid. So yeah, when I first moved in, he was really normal. One thing that was a little bit off is I said I was Thai, and I said I was Thai, and one of the first things he said was, the way, how Thai people, Thai women especially, are portrayed in media. He, made a little kind of remark about that, and I just shrugged it off because you do get ignorant people and they don't really know any better, and then you get straight up assholes, and then I just took it as it was just the first thing. He wasn't really I guess trained to think that not Thailand isn't always like that. So anyways, I moved in all my stuff, but after that house meeting, he gave all of us an eviction notice, because I've exposed him for everything. He was trying to talk over me when I addressed a lot of the stuff that all of the female tenants felt uncomfortable with. So on my phone, I have a list of everything that has happened in this house. So yeah, the first one is John has made sexually suggestive comments in the past. He has suggested to my roommate Keri, she's moved out, and now she just moved out today. He suggested that she could go swimming naked in his creek and he'd hold her clothes. What she told me is, I don't know if this is true, this is what she told me, but from my experiences, yeah, I'm not gonna not believe it. He has looked at her legs. He's made remarks why do you cover your breasts all the time to Keri, because Keri is a pretty big-chested woman, but it's why, it's none of his business. I don't, a landlord shouldn't be talking like that. Also, Keri was only 18, so, and John's he looks fucking 80 or 90, so, and anyways, and it's just creepy because he doesn't have friends and family either. And it says he's picked times when tenants were alone in the house for really lewd, I guess, derogatory and crude comments. So, you know, like when I've been alone in the house, he has said to me, like, oh, you know, some of the Thai transgender girls are a bit yummy, and the only reason I was thinking about going to Thailand is because, like, it was really cheap and the girls were, like, easy and you can pay the girls to, you know, and he decided to go off onto a little tangent about, like, getting, like, 18 or 19-year-old prostitutes in Spain, and he was saying it was only, like, 30 quid to get them. He was really interested and wanted me to go in detail about how pedophiles have like coded listings, like, you know, if they use like teenager or schoolgirl or young, it means that there's like there might be trafficking involved, and also, yeah, there might be trafficking involved at all the girls, like possibly like 14 or 15, you know, like not of legal age. What was it? He's also, so he sent us all like pole dancing lesson classes. It was like a free pole dancing lesson session, and it was free, but it was like kid friendly. But he knew, like me and Keri especially, we felt uncomfortable with doing those classes, and I know that he's tried to persuade me, but he's definitely harassed Keri on more than like one occasion about trying to do those pole dancing lessons. There was the second time he asked, she said she'd think about it, and then so he went to Gabby, and then Gabby said, oh, usually when a woman says she'll think about it, it means no. And even with that information, he decided to ask her again. So what else? Oh yeah, so like those were like, yeah, I'm just reading the first point. So yeah, like those were her comments with me, those were his comments with Keri. There was a time where Kitty, another tenant, she was taking, like, you know, she was getting all of her washing out of the line, and she had to she couldn't reach, so she had to like get her underwear using her teeth. And then John just said something like, oh, you're very flexible, aren't you? Once I accidentally left the door open by accident, like in the washroom, and he was like, oh, you naughty girl. Like, it was just really fucked up shit. And also, we were talking once, and he said like, oh, what did he say? It was super dodgy. Oh yeah, so he was saying how he had this experience where him and one of his Chinese tenants have tried to you know, do, I guess, like as a joke, I said at this, you know, I said as a joke, I said at this point I might have to like start sleeping around for rent or something, and he goes, oh, I wouldn't mind if like someone could live rent free if like they offered me sexual favors. And then he went into really in-depth detail about it, like he went into explicit detail about this old Chinese tenant he had, and he told me they have arranged to go to a hotel or like meet up to have sex, and she backed out because she didn't want her roommates to think less of her. But yeah, he would say, like, he would go into really in-depth detail about like what the girl was wearing when she came out of the dining room, like, you know, in like a see-through top, went like into like the color, the size, like everything. Like, he would go into really explicit detail. Also, what was another thing? Oh yeah, he would also say like, so the Chinese tenant would be in nothing but a towel and like should expose like a little bit of leg, like to kind of like be suggestive or flirt with him. And it got to the point where we ended up having this discussion where I said like, an 18 or a 19-year-old isn't a teenager. You know, I would say like 16-year-olds are definitely teenagers, and they're definitely not of age. And so it got to the point where he said, oh, I would never go for a 16-year-old because the family ties are too strong, and that was a red fucking flag right there. And then I asked him, you know, it usually means like he could get in trouble legally if he did that. So yeah, he obviously was playing dumb. And then I said, so if a 16-year-old tried to like flirt with you and your family ties weren't that strong, would you pursue it? And he was like, oh, well, if she kept suggesting it slow, like, you know, little by little, yeah, I would go for it. And I was like, what the fuck? yeah, and so, you know, that was a red flag. Also, when I told Jamin about all the comments he's made towards me, Jamin came with me, like he went behind me when I went back into the house after I told him, like, John seems to think sexual harassment is when you put your arm around a woman and a woman complains that that's sexual harassment. It's like, clearly this guy's playing stupid, because that's obviously not the fucking definition of sexual harassment at all. It's like when you force yourself on someone against their will, or, you know, like, you know, suggest, you know what I mean? So yeah, anyways, when I told him about that, he went into the house with me and then shot, like, John a dark glare. And I went to get something in my room because I was staying the night in Jamin's house. I'm blotting my face because it's really sweaty. And then we got into the car, and then Jamin said, I'm thinking two things. Either you're making this up, and I was like, well, fair enough, because he's only got my word for it. He's like, you're either making this up, or he's picking certain times to do this. And judging by what all of my housemates have told me, and what I've told Jamin about, like, what my housemates have told me, he's definitely picking times to do this to women in his own house. So yeah, like, it's usually when his, like, male company, or, like, I guess, you know, strangers aren't around. It's only when, like, we see it. Always seems to be when we're, like, all alone, which I find really weird. Oh, and the second one was, he has denied any derogatory remarks made to me directly, you know, like, i.e. Thai girls are very easy, and I've almost slept with an Asian tenant, so I shouldn't have to pay her board once, but she backed out at the last minute. Yeah, so, like, you know, comments like that. That was the second one. Oh yeah, so 3, tenants have found bed bugs when first moved in. So Keri's room is $135 a week, and my room is $99 a week, including utilities, and, like, Wi-Fi and shit. So when we first moved in, like, I complained first that I had, like, bed bugs in my room, and then, like, so I told John about it, and he just shrugged it off as, he said, so when I first told Jamin's mum, she said it could possibly be, like, an allergic reaction to my washing, and it definitely wasn't. But it was funny because I would always start itching at night, and then it would always be fine in the morning. So I ended up sleeping at, like, 4 o'clock in the morning just because of that, because, like, I was just itching all the time, like, just scratching myself all the time. I actually have, like, bite marks all over my feet. Like, I'll even take photos for proof. But yeah, I could never see the bed bugs, but I knew that I had bed bugs, and, you know, like, she chalked it off as to, like, maybe an allergic reaction to the detergent. When I, like, told the landlord, when I told John, he chalked it off to, like, saying how, like, Asians tend to have very delicate skin and shit, and he said that when they ended up putting, like, bug bombs in there, they were fine. Like, it might have been fleas or some shit, and like, he was talking it off like as like it was like an Asian condition or some shit. But then, like, a week before, when we all got our like eviction notices, I started telling I started talking with all of my, like, roommates, you know, and Keri actually brought up the fact that she was always itching all the time, and like, she had bed bugs in her bed as well. But it's weird because she was paying $135 for her room, and she shouldn't have bed bugs if she's paying the most, you know what I mean? Yeah, because I've asked Gabby and Keri, and they don't have bed bugs, but me and Keri do, which I find really weird, because John just chalked it up to, like, fucking, like, you know, like, just kind of like a racist thing. What was it? Oh yeah, number 4, house was littered with previous tenants' stuff, including in the garage. So, like, it's a complete tip in the garage because he's opened it before, but I found that super suspicious, that there was always, like, everything, like, it was just littered with, just, like, covered in, like, old tenant stuff, and I just found it suspicious, and I've actually confronted him about it. I said, I just find it strange, no one takes the most important stuff with them when they move out. Like, fucking shower gel was still in the shower, freaking, like, toilet paper, like, a washing line, like, those little clothes, like, rack things, like, clothes, blankets, books, freaking washing detergent. The kitchen is just full of old tenants, like, food supplies. The fridge was, you know, had like, yeah, the freaking fridge had like other people's food as well in the past. A lot of the like food is like rotten and like, or like expired and stuff, and I just found it super sketchy. I like thought it was either like a drug house or he's doing something to rip the tenants off. But yeah, like that was like my first red flag when I moved in. I just like, because I looked, Jamin said I didn't really have a choice, and I said fair enough, but I just went that's I've never had a good experience with somebody that has a house like that's like a tip. What was it? Oh, and the windows are always open, like day and night, and he keeps harassing me and saying like I don't leave my window open, and I do leave my window open. I just leave it open for like 1 or 2 hours to like get some fresh air into it. Like he pretty much just laughs off when like I complained to him about like insects just flying into the house, and they would go into your food when you're cooking. They would go into your food while you're eating. They, you know, if you're making tea, like there's a high chance moths will fly into there. Like fruit flies, it's just disgusting. And like there's like spiders in the cupboards, there's moths in the cupboards, there's freaking mothballs in like my freaking closet, but I kind of expected that for like $99 a week. Yeah, also you hear like, I don't know if I've made this a point, there are actually like rats crawling on the ceiling like at night time. Yeah, so that, like, I've had to put earplugs in because of that, and also, like, you know, I live, like, next to a really big tree, and so, like, some of the branches fall off sometimes, but you always hear everybody in this house has complained that they've heard rats, like, scuttling around the ceiling. What was another thing? 5, the washing machine has not been fixed. Yeah, so yeah, you can probably guess it would just stop like halfway. I've used the dryer because I didn't feel comfortable with like hanging my washing around John. Like I just felt like, just because of the comments he'd made in the past, I told all of my like housemates like I didn't feel comfortable at all like hanging my fucking washing anywhere near him. Like I told them at best I might get like a clothes rack where I would just hang my underwear in my closet and then just let it dry. But yeah, like I told them like I was willing to pay extra just because I didn't feel comfortable with just like hanging my laundry when it was just me and him alone. And like now, like, you know, when the house got full, that's when I decided to like hang my washing, and also like he told me off because I was using like the dryer as well. And the 6th point is he owes $420 to tenants after we've had a house meeting and confronted him, and has not refunded their week's rent in advance. So actually Keri and Gabby paid 2 weeks rent in advance, and it totaled up to like about, I think it was $260, $250, I think, around there. And then Keri, she has actually youth services, because she's only 18, paid John for the past 2 weeks. Like John told Keri about this. What was it? They paid him $180 instead of $105, and because $105 is how much Keri's room is, but they actually paid him $180 for rent. And then what was it? So yeah, he hasn't paid them back. And so that's why that was one of the main reasons why we had the house meeting. And then John would just talk down to us and be condescending or patronizing and say, oh, well, we've already had this conversation. I don't know why you have to bring it up. And it's just like, whoa, you know, like that, you know, like you owe them like freaking $200, like over $200. So yeah, like I'd address that as an issue. And also, when Keri confronted him about it, he said, I'm going to pay you, don't you trust me, or something. And then, so I butted in, like, in the video, you can clearly see, I said, well, here's the thing, like, it's, you know, like, in every freaking, like, country, you need, like, written statements or documents or for everything as evidence. Like, you know, this is why people have receipts, this is why people have reports, this is, you know, just like written documents, and like in fine print and shit, you know, just to make sure like the person's actually going to follow through with what they promised. You know, that you can't just take someone's good word from it because you just expect everyone to have like a fucking heart of gold, you know. Oh yeah, at one point I did say to John, like, I'm not fucking, like, I'm not fucking, you know, like, having the insects anywhere near my food, or like, you know, like, I didn't pay like this much money to have insects all over the house, unless they're paying rent as well. I've told them that. What was it? Oh yeah, the 7-1 has, he actually evicted us because we didn't open the windows. Yeah, we didn't open like windows, or we didn't open doors or something. It was just really fucking stupid. I'd have to look at like Keri's tenancy agreement. But yeah, so I know for a fact that section 14 was like leaving, you know, doors and windows like not open or some shit. Like, yeah, so doors open and windows closed. I know for a fact that I haven't fucking, you know, like, I haven't fucking, like, you know, not close the window. Like, I do leave my window open. I just don't like to leave it for like a certain amount of time, because when I first moved in here, there were 6 fucking spiders all over the place. There were moths everywhere. It was just fucking gross. Even when he cleaned it. And so, yeah, and then another thing is, I know for a fact that Kitty and Gabby, they always leave their windows open. Like, that's not a bad thing, but, you know, like, it's, you know, you can't really tell someone that they, you know, like, they're getting evicted because of something they didn't do. It's just really fucking stupid. So that would be called a retaliatory, notice. Yeah. But yeah, like, I can vouch for them. Like, I know for a fact that, like, me and Jamin have driven up to the house, like up to the driveway, and we've always seen Kitty and Gabby's windows always open. Oh yeah, so number 8 was Gabby and Kitty have come to me about this, and they like said they didn't feel comfortable around John because he would like kind of like treat me and Keri, who was like half moldy. He would treat me and Keri differently to the way he treats Gabby and Kitty. Like, when Gabby talks or when Kitty talks, he's just like more quieter. They also feel like he's overcharged them more. Yeah. Also, when Gabby went to protect Kitty, John just remained quiet. When we were waiting for Gabby and Kitty to have the house meeting, as soon as he saw like Gabby and Kitty like come into the living room, he just walked off. So like, I found that a bit weird as well. Like, other than either that, or it was just a really weird coincidence. I think those are like all of my points. This video's gone like up to like 22 minutes now, so I'll probably edit this, and yeah, those are just all my points before I like move out. Yeah, so like giving someone like a week's notice to like move, like find a place and like move out and shit, it's, I don't know, just because, you know, like, we actually addressed everything he's done and he's tried to hide it or like brush it under the carpet. You know, obviously it's not going to be under the carpet for long if I start talking about it, or if like, you know. Alright, that's it. Alright, see you later.